I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start the meeting with election of 2023 officers.
I'll nominate Jeremy Overton for president.
Second.
Nomination and a second.
Who seconded? Me. Okay.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? I got asked 3 times. Any other nominations? A motion to close. the-
I'll make a motion to close the nominations for president.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. All right, and now for vice president.
I nominate Derek.
I'll second.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We have a nomination and a second. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Make a motion to close the nominations.
We have a motion and a second. Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Second, Stillwell. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0. All right.
We'll do it. We'll do
Good work, guys. Did everybody get a chance to look at the meeting minutes from December 20th? Anybody have a chance? Anybody have any questions, comments, or additions or deletions?
The members present were they were wrong.
Oh,
It's incorrect.
We have,
I
Yeah.
can't hear you.
we'll fix that.
We'll fix that.
I started in minutes and
yeah, it's
it's been new members, right?
correct.
So we just want to bring them back amended next month? Is that how we do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Never had it happen. Don't think. Nice work. Treasurer, clerk.
We don't have treasurer work.
Treasurer, clerk report. Department reports.
That's correct. Thank you.
I'm gonna start with
Thank you.
George, so I don't forget you.
Correct. These are the correct ones.
Oh, it's been corrected.
Just sign the back.
She's fast.
That was quick.
This is,
Check that. I don't know, there.
I've seen these before, timeline, construction and finish. Retail project. 911 center. We're, this is all project we're hauling in clean dirt. What's going on? We've taken about 240 truckloads of concrete and bricks out to the county highway department. Pretty near the end of doing that. It's not much better than this. Now they're hauling clean dirt. I think it's coming out of. Raise it up some, so we're working on that. But it's kind of like sheet that I give you. We're going to vote requirements. But this is just FYI for you guys. The majority of the building and projects all until December 2023. Shoot for. There's still some finishing work, punch list, obviously. And projecting that is totally May of 2024. For that, but this we can realistic, every school will have to update the timeline, which for that May of 2024. This document actually, we'll have to vote to accept this document tonight. The review, and then our federal report, which is every 3 months, we have. Work through some bullet points of comprehensive plan project. One of the things we will do is that in court that we have extended that. I don't like that it's so come up last minute change. We've not had any conversation with federal court, as long as we don't have any conversation with the federal court, these things are good. So we never had any shopping, we had any consequences, and we never had any. Other thing that we'll mention is, either late January or early February is when they're gonna start drilling these 2-foot diameter ear holes, basically, they'll be down, they'll put rocks, 3s in there, and shortly after that, it'll be designed. So there'll be actually 500 of those drilled in that site. 400 will be in the jail, another 100 will be in the sheriff's department. Frontier is finally will get their cable behind me. Got that access all paid for. Shortly thereafter that, we'll be talking about some power poles. We've also worked with Chris Bell, I'm sure. Basically, become an IT guy at the sheriff's office, so that other county uses it too. They were video camera and hopefully could look at it already. The job sites will be anytime, anywhere, you can see what's going on at the job site. Transparency also. Taxpayers to see exactly what's happening. Watching. Okay. And that's pretty much it right now.
Any other department reports? Sheriff Van Owen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, council. Give you guys a couple of reports here. Obviously, our general population. December, we had an average of 76 males and 14 females. The daily average of 89. Did want to kind of let you guys know that although we don't make a product or sell a product, and you guys are often seeing us come in and ask for one, I just want to let you guys know that we do generate some funds. So civil process fees for this is for all. You're all we want to for 2 months, 1 month, but I know they got this as I walking over. Last year, the civil process fees we raised $25,530.75. That was collected by the clerk, but that was directly because of us, because constitutionally we serve the court. Sheriff sales, which goes directly to our pension. We are one of the only counties in the state of Indiana that does sheriff sales. So whenever you have your house foreclosed on, that comes there, and I get to do my best auctioneer invitation. So last year we raised $4,200 for that. And I can get you these numbers if you guys want to send me an email. But the $4,200 goes directly into the pension. And big kudos to my pension board people, because they took what was traditionally a train wreck and was really staking and turning it into something that people will all be very, very proud Tax warrant collections, $1,400, $1,425.03. Process fee for tax warrants, $1,764. And, yeah, that's all you really care about there. Now, while I got your, time here, I want to talk to you about somebody. I want to talk to you guys about this officer right here. Here too. Rick Cooler was one of our deputies. And, Christmas Day I was working and I heard him stop the car. And, didn't really think much of it. Well, Captain Borchett came to me and, told me the story. The rest of the story, Paul Harvey would say. And I just want to share that with you. And, I gave you guys a physical copy of this, but let me tell you about it. Now, on, December 30th, 2022, Captain Borchett was at Pat's place. No one's where she started her regular scheduled shift. While she was in there, she was asked by a patron about which guest was working on Christmas Day. He advised her that there was a Christmas miracle that happened for their family and was by an angel at the sheriff's office. He explained that his daughter was driving home from home on Christmas evening when she had an allergic reaction to peanuts. This was an unknown allergy. His daughter had an EpiPen with her for other reasons. He further explained that his daughter was at his home and started to not feel well and decided that she would drive home to Fort Branch. It was while driving that she had an anaphylactic reaction, in which her airway started swelling closed. This is a life-threatening emergency. The man said that the deputy stopped to assist her and saved her life. And that the deputy's wife, a nurse, administered life-saving EpiPen. Captain Borchett explained to the deputy he was inquiring about was Deputy Garrett Tooley, and that Deputy Tooley was off duty at the time on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. He witnessed what he believed to be was an impaired driver and initiated a traffic stop. Captain Borchett explained that Deputy Tooley would have believed the driver being very dangerous to make the stop off duty on Christmas Day with his family in the car. So the facts of the incident are at approximately 16:30 hours on Christmas Day, Deputy Tooley was in his marked police vehicle off duty on State Road 168 when he called in to dispatch a traffic stop of a possible intoxicated driver. Very shortly after initiating the stop, Deputy Tooley called in to dispatch that he believed the driver was having an allergic reaction and requested a medic unit to respond. Deputy Tooley advised that the EpiPen was administered. This was all before the ambulance arrived on scene. Once the medic arrived on scene, they took over patient care. Deputy Tooley then assisted in getting the patient's vehicle safely parked in a church parking lot and returning the to her. This saving her from having her vehicle towed, as it could not be left on the side of the road due to weather conditions. As I've said, Deputy Tooley was off duty. He did have his wife in the car. It was Christmas. He saved that woman's life. And I just want to say that I'm mighty proud of my family. And when you guys hear about how much we take from you guys with the budgets and everything, out here in my department that are wildly capable and they're doing extraordinary things. So thank you for your time.
Department reports. Full business. Is Jim here? Yeah, there you are. Sorry, Jim.
I'm here on behalf of the Federal Redevelopment Commission again. The YMCA is requested. It's a little premature. We have not met as far as the Gibson County Economic Commission has not met. They will meet tonight at 5 o'clock. I'm asking you to table this to the next. Appropriate holidays and seeing everybody scheduled to meet. Didn't happen.
I'll make a motion to table this request.
Second,
Thank you.
You second,
I think Jeff.
Jeff?
Julie?
Vote on the motion.
Okay, we're there. We are on the agenda to discuss the guidance for Black Tuesday artists. And maybe the first time that we did, what it was now. She's at 46,000. She will go back to 4160, which is a different than 47, 4240. Which I'm the administrator now in the financial committee. So I will take that portion and go from 37,897.60 to 42,640, which is the difference of the 42,40. When I was hired for the position, by the health officer, and I was told that the position would be at $45,000. So at this time, we're asking, we can even go out of overtime, which is what we had talked about part-time before. And we were thinking overtime, because we have a little bit more money in there that we're not using. And I'll explain the part-time there just a lot. That I'm asking for the difference of the 2360 to come out of that. And this is in the fund at 115 to make my salary 45,000. The reason why we decided to go with the overtime instead of the part-time, Ben Dye, our sanitation in our sanitation department, he's going to be this year. We're going to be talking to him. He has already given us feedback to be there by August. We really want to have someone at least 2 to 3 months with him because he knows a lot. He's seen it before me, very knowledgeable. And I'm learning a lot from him, but I'm not going to learn everything. I really would like to do this. So that is kind of why we did the overtime instead of the part-time. And we are with it as well. It's gonna require more money, but we don't ask for a lot with the health department, and we do have grants that we have that can help pay for the people or the person who ever else. So. And I did give you guys a copy of the governor's commission, which is multiple departments that they're in here, and then starting here. And we are going to get more study with that. How it's already used, I'm not sure yet. There is going to be your plan for a lot more with that. We have a very called testing for STDs. We have a huge number right now with STDs in the county and in the surrounding areas. We really don't have and that's over that. So we are working with ARPA related with ARPA.
These are all in serious transit.
Julie, what are you asking to pay the part-time person that is going to take Ben's place? The part-time rate is $12.50.
You probably pay them what they pays. I mean, we'll go for it minus the. Isn't that what we discussed?
What we would want to request is that we start advertising. I know we'll have to request that tonight from the council commissioners, but while we have you, so we don't have to bump it back another month, is request that we advertise to fill Ben's position. When Ben's position would come in, they would be at Ben's rate. And so we will have to move money around.
So the part-time person that you want to work with Ben for 2 to 3 months, you want to hire them at Ben's rate.
Yes.
Well, first of all, you can't hire at Ben's rate. They have to be at least 1,000 less,
Yes.
but that needed to be clear to me.
So that we're going to use the part-time money, but they are going to be a full-time person coming in to train with them. So we would like to use that money if we can with that, but we do have funds in grants that we can help with that too.
So it's not a part-time person.
It's a full-time person usually.
Just to help make the difference when we're overlapping the 2 people.
Yes.
Is what
And
we-
we will have things in grants that we met all our deliverables that we will be able to help pay.
So you'll have to have another insurance to the tune of $20,000 extra. Okay, I'm just wanting to clarify.
Well, not technically because Ben's not going to be there all year, right? So we have to have, yeah.
Even if we advertise now, by the time we advertise for a month, then we're gonna have to interview and get somebody hired. We're probably 2 or 3 months
And
out.
they're probably only gonna work within a couple months, but and he's gonna be available for even after he leaves. He has said that he would help if we need him to come in, we can pay him or whatever, if there's a reason that he needs to come in.
The biggest problem I think is gonna be is we're coming out in August. We're really busy still in August with septics. The fall's pretty busy for us still. So that's where financially, looking forward, we're probably gonna have some money in there. Because I think the person coming in is gonna need a little help. And Ben said he will be available to do that, but we can come to you at further meetings and get further down the road at what rate we would pay him.
Well, and also the one good thing about the governor's commission is we have state people for every job that we have that will help us and assist us with everything, even with Ben's job. So, because they have a lot of things changing with that too.
Question? Do they have to have state classes or something?
They
To do
will go
this?
to trainings and things like that, they will have to do that, but there's nothing, but there are just.
The state will come down and train
Yes.
them. And as well as Ben, but there's not like, there's certification that we get.
No certification.
There is.
There is.
There is.
They will be certified.
And the state will provide that.
Okay.
From the state. So it's just some things to bring about.
So the first thing is addressing per wage. We kind of threw 2 of them into one. And then the second one is to request that we initiate the process of advertising for Ben's position.
And then we need to address your wage change too.
So all this is a salary ordinance issue, right? Mike, so what is a salary? Guess I'm a little confused because you guys,
Salary.
who
ordinance.
falls in what line of the salary ordinance?
Do you have it in front of
I
you?
do not.
Okay. So public health nurse administrator for this year makes $22.30 an hour,
Okay.
okay? Diane is going back to 2002, which is the same as the other public health nurse,
Got it.
okay? Julie is under the first, it's actually called a first deputy on the salary ordinance. She makes $18.22. We're gonna move her to an administrator line. She's gonna get the difference of the $47.42.40 that Diane's giving up.
Mhm.
And then if you agree to pay her the additional $23.60.
So does that move away from an hourly and go to a salary?
Yes, that will move away from an hourly and go to a salary. She'll come out of the union,
Going to an exempt position?
yes.
Okay.
And Diane will go in, has already requested go in the union.
And once we fix the salary schedule, all it is in-series transfers for you.
Yes.
So all we have to do is fix the salary schedule.
Yeah, you just need to vote if you're gonna pay her that.
And all this falls in the budget right now.
The 45 falls in the budget.
Yeah.
It's all in overtime.
It'll be a transfer of the additional 23.6 from overtime into the administrator's position if you decide to pay that 45.
And that was promised to you when they offered you the job.
Dr. Brink did that, yes.
So taking Diane down, it falls in line with the salary that's already everybody else in that position was making.
Right,
And moving her up because she's going into the administrative role
yes.
But it's still at a lesser rate.
at lesser rate than what you were making as the administrator.
No, actually, well, Diane would have made 46
Right.
this year.
Right.
But yeah. 45, yes.
It's really.
Yeah, it is.
It will, yeah.
Sounds like we need a motion for a salary ordinance.
I'll make a motion to change the salary ordinance for the administrator. Pay it at 45.
Then we gotta lower the public health nurse to 20.
Already set, right?
No, we still have to amend the salary ordinance for that position, all right?
Go down.
Well,
We have to amend the ordinance for her, or just amend it for,
you know, amend the ordinance to pay the administrator 45, amend the public health nurse administrator,
41.
just back to public health nurse.
yes, at the current rate.
What she said.
Yeah. From what she said, I'll make that motion.
So if I read that right, Jay, you were making a motion to bring the public health nurse, to take Diane's job as the public health nurse administrator down to the public health nurse at that set rate of 2002. And
Yeah.
we're, in your motion, if I remember correctly, you're saying bringing the admin up to a 45,000 salary exempt position.
Right.
Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
Oh,
exactly.
I'll second his motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions?
And you're gonna handle the transfers. We don't, because they're in series,
She's going to.
but they're in series, right?
Yes, they
Okay.
are in series.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0.
You know, once we hire somebody for Ben's job, that's gonna take a little while. Ben knows a lot. He's been there a long time.
And that's why I said, things are changing with the state, they have a new code now, so there are. Ben is very wonderful, he will help even after all this. He said he would.
Okay, so he will be for 6 months or so, or, okay, because
But it's good that, like she said, the process happens, advertise, get somebody.
They can pay for
Our busy time start, you know, start.
I know.
We just want to-
But it's a possibility you could hire someone with experience in this field.
Yes, and there are some people that.
So in this 2-month overlap, we're satisfied between what we're leaving in part-time and what you're gonna possibly have in grants and stuff. You're not gonna come for more money or anything like that. You're gonna handle that. The overlap's gonna be covered financially.
Well, for one thing, with a lot of the grants that we have, remember that typical liaison grant, we had to meet a lot of those nursing stuff, and get paid out that, so we may have to switch around some of the nursing.
No, don't plan on doing that too.
So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, there were $440,000 that we got grants there, and we only spent maybe 30 last year. So we still got a substantial amount of money that we may have to, you know, change some things around, but there's some nursing. So,
So I believe everything you're telling me. I will say, I'm with Jay on this, that go ahead and advertise, because obviously we can't go without Ben's position and we need it. But I'd like maybe next month to make sure you have a budget in front of us to show the numbers, that we're not going in the wrong direction.
he kind of just came up with this in the last couple of weeks.
Because you didn't have that.
Advertising doesn't mean hiring yet, but like, that's where I'm
Oh,
at.
you didn't have a definite date from Ben?
Well, he's.
Yeah, we pushed to get a date. We still don't have a date.
He still
Okay.
has to talk to Wendy about herb and all that stuff, so we're trying to figure out how it's working. So we just want to mention it, because he is wanting to do this.
Thank you.
And with that being said, you realize he has 6 weeks vacation and leftover sick time still.
So he's supposed to use that, so that's.
So we're looking at probably 3 or 4 months that he won't even be here out of there. That's fine. But he's still gonna be.
Right.
Okay, right. So that's why we need to get.
We just want to see a budget.
Together. Thank you.
There's more to it.
So it is okay to advertise.
Yes.
to clarify.
Yes.
Do we have a motion or do we?
You don't need
Just-
one.
Okay,
As long as nobody disagrees, yeah, we wouldn't vote against it.
okay.
Okay, approval of 2023 meeting dates and times. Open some discussion around that.
This is just based on how we've done it last 2 years. Second Tuesday of every month, and then these are determined for the tax and for the budget.
We gotta do budgets every year.
It's gonna be so much easier
So
this
we
year.
don't have to put the times. Or do I?
Well,
Yeah,
we need to make the times. It needs to be made public. if we change them, then we'll have to advertise for changing. them. You know,
I'd like to make a motion, just keep them the same, because I have commitments every Thursday afternoon for a long
I'm
time.
gonna second that motion. Evenings are not good.
I knew you. had-
Too many other commitments.
Yeah.
Too many other commitments.
Is it, I'd like to ask if,
Motion in a second, but yeah, is there discussion, comments?
yeah, so the times that you have these, are they going to be set for the whole year? Can you adjust them?
We can advertise in a month basis, but this advertisement will be for the whole year. That is correct. Other than the TBDs on the,
Cause I teach school and I don't get out till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I have to miss school to make these meetings. Had to miss today and classes I teach are dual credit and I really can't miss a lot of those either. So I don't know if we might be able to move it just a little bit later, so I can only miss the afternoon classes instead of all day.
How long has it been at this time? This day? For a long time?
I mean,
We had-
third term.
We had a short time where we tried evenings to allow, I mean, but golly, I bet that's been
Years.
2010 or
Over
over.
a decade. I've been here
Yeah.
since 12.
Well, this
Yeah, I'm
time
sure it
works
has.
best for me. I'll tell you that.
Well, I am retiring in May. There'd only be 5 days. Or 5 meetings is what I was trying to see if work that in.
So you retire at the end of May?
May 18th, my last day ever. 84 more days.
Are you counting?
Yes,
Well, realistically, you won't hurt too bad then. I mean, here. I just, there's no way I can do evenings. I mean, I'm not, there's no way.
I'd make a motion, we leave it as it is.
We already got that.
We
It's-
got a motion.
We're under discussion right now.
Got it all.
We just gotta vote.
Anybody else have an opinion or otherwise?
Are these put on, are these broadcast live? I mean,
We have been streaming them yet at the YouTube channel and, or if the live stream's down, we try to upload the recording after the fact.
and then what about Zoom? Can that be done with it?
I mean, we use the Zoom just as a mechanism for the stream right now since we have it. And we keep it if somebody needed to remote it.
So he could Zoom in, remote into,
I do use Zoom. I've used
Well,
that.
we're only talking about 5 meetings. I don't think that's gonna be that big of a deal.
well, not even
four.
5 meetings.
4 meetings.
Four. Yeah, so you could Zoom in. I mean, I'm just throwing that out because we do have that capability.
That be available to me then? That's okay with me
You
then.
can only do so many Zooms. You have to be seen to make a vote though, right, Andrew?
It's weird. I don't know if you could do 4 in a row.
No, I know that.
You could do 1 and then,
Every other or something like that. We're,
We don't have
We
a
have to
county
take-
ordinance on voting.
well, that's true.
We don't have a county ordinance on voting on Zoom yet. I
But
don't know
then
why
we
they've
also-
never done it, but they.
They also have to take a roll call for votes when there's Zoom.
We done that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to keep the meetings as is, 9 o'clock on the dates mentioned, and then we
Second.
will
Second Tuesday of
on the
each
second
month.
Tuesday of each month, and then we will, with the exception of December, right?
Yeah,
that will move to the end of the month.
Yeah. That
I
meeting will
moved
be
it to the 19th.
the 19th. And then we will set the times for our budgets
Budgets.
later. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0. Thanks for everybody for working on that. And you talked about some more, have you met John Howe? He's our GIS director slash tech interface. De facto, people found out he was good with computers and they knew where he sat, so. Right. Yeah, so John can hook you up with meeting links and all that. Thanks, everybody, for working on that together. Pay increase, Rachel?
I'll help you, because my name's on here, so I'm assuming I'm getting a raise. No, this we just tabled we tabled last month. This was an oversight on our part, but we couldn't address it until this month, till the budget was set. So this isn't something new and off the wall, and she's trying to get new raises for people that we didn't give them their raise when we gave everybody else the raise, because quite frankly, it just slipped through the cracks.
There's an over.
Now you can take over. Or did I explain it?
I'm just here for approval. As you know, I don't know if you guys know, but this is a county money I'm asking to spend. This is community corrections, whether it be from DOC grant funds or our project income, which is our user fees. So while this isn't a burden on an additional burden on the county, I do have to have approval for the ordinance.
Salary ordinance. And all you're doing is bringing what in line with what, just to clarify for the record.
So our back, I don't know what, late last year, jailers received a raise. Our community corrections officers did not. They had traditionally made more than jailers, less than deputies, because they still do go out and do field checks on work release and home detention clients in their homes or their places of business. So I asked for this to keep us in line with jailers, and then the rest of us in line with that raise.
So can you put the numbers out there for the positions you're asking for?
It's a $1.38 difference plus the 50 cents that everyone for the county got. So it would be $1.88 total for each position. Do you want those? I have that right now. Do you want to see that?
Yes, please.
Anybody else? But I have a couple.
How many positions?
6. But
It's office and field officers. It's the whole entire
Yeah, the
department.
whole, yes.
So you've got that, Wendy, you've been through it all?
Anybody else want to see this? We
Rachel?
currently, right now, we do not have a field officer, a facility officer. That position is open. We have 2 current field officers and a 3rd vacant. So 2 vacant positions.
So I guess we do need to address something. So the raises that we gave last year was 50 cents, but then we also gave a bigger raise to the jailers, which is correct. So the $1.38 you're coming up with before the 50-cent raise.
Is the differential between,
I've already given them the 50-cent raise for this year.
Oh, okay.
I guess this is.
Given it.
Before, I did all this before that came into effect, so she's correct, yes. So it'll be the $1.38. So that $1.38 was the difference between what they currently make and what would make them
$20.99.
as the $21.
Yeah.
And I just adjusted everyone else's accordingly.
So these are already up 50 cents.
Yeah, those are should be 50 cents higher.
And this is just something that slipped through the crack over the years because it's not general fund that we tip.
Yeah.
Well, they made more than the jailers.
They did. You're correct. Yeah. But it's slacked as we gave jailers raises. This didn't come up to us.
Just this time.
Correct.
Yes.
Because it's
Now,
the board, which I serve on our behalf, had to vote on it before we could bring it to the county council. It's kind of backwards a little bit, and that's why we're delayed in these raises. Does that make sense?
The county gets a raise, community corrections always gets that raise.
Right.
Also. So we have not been left out
Find it at all.
before, not at all.
Just
No, I'm
this-
not saying that.
just this round.
Just this, when the jail.
Well, we gave a mid-year raise to get the jailers numbers up. That's where this,
September.
Exactly.
Office manager there, though, it's like
This-
basically. The ultimate.
that's crazy.
Explain each of these positions, because not everybody at the sheriff's department got that raise. It was just the jailers. That's our question, like on office manager, case manager, clerk. Are they office staff?
So I am office manager. So
in charge of everything community corrections, whether it be claims, bills. I'm in charge of the maintenance of that building, which is an undertaking in itself. The case manager is in charge of all of our assessments for DOC, anything counseling related for DOC for our inmates, employment, those kind of things. The field officer is the person that they dress in all of our inmates when the inmates come or go from the facility. They do all the field checks on clients. We have to do per DOC, and our goals are supposed to be 20 of those checks a week. So that means leaving the facility, checking on 20 different clients per week. And if, they get repeated. We have about 60 between work release and home detention right about now. The facility officer is a position that's still open. We got a commission a couple of years ago, still haven't filled it. They will stay on site. They will be a corrections officer for community corrections. They will not leave the facility, so they will stay there. She does work release. She does everything work release related. Keeping track of their work schedules and such. And we all overlap a lot. So while we each have separate job titles, our duties overlap a lot between all of us. So.
All right, I'll make the motion. All right, I make a motion. I'm not agreeing with all the positions getting raised because not all the positions at the jail got the raise. I'll make the motion to increase the office manager because you're kind of like the jail commander / for the corrections officer's way and getting it. So the office manager, the field officer, I'll put the prices on there. The office manager to $21.49. The case manager will just get the 50-cent raise that they've already received. The field officer to 21, and I think the facility officer should go to 20 to match the jailers. And then the clerk will just get the 50-cent raise that they've already received to match. That's my motion.
What is that? That's gonna be.
Or you can make that effective January 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. And back pay to January 1 with that rate.
Second Jay's motion.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions for Jay regarding his rationale? Makes sense to me, but I'm looking at the numbers.
The reason why the two positions is because not the office staff at the jail did not get that bigger bump in pay. And that's comparable to what those positions are.
While I understand that, you must realize that the office staff in the jail for the sheriff's department, they don't deal with inmates. We all deal with inmates on a daily basis. There's not, the clerk doesn't just stay at the desk, and I'm pleading my case.
Not
I'm
comparing.
downgrading
Yes.
anyone else's.
Right.
That's why.
Please know that. But while they deal with inmates on a daily basis, just like the rest of us do, and while I never think that puts in a little bit of risk. I don't know if you know the clientele we're dealing with lately, but they get squirrelier and squirrelier. So I just would like you to put that in consideration that while she does have a title of clerk, it's always been unfair. She's actually a work release coordinator. That should have been that title for years. We go deal face to face, one-on-one with inmates every single day.
Sheriff, you have anything to weigh in on this? You got the star on the collar.
I support her argument. They are at a different level of professionalism and responsibility than.
I'll keep my motion, but I'll leave it open to come back with job descriptions next month. And then reconsider the other two positions. That way we have a better idea of what we're dealing with, because I don't want to start give a raise and then,
I don't think he's saying he wants to argue the compare the jobs. I think he wants to show us the difference.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
What he's wanting to do is break it out, put it in words, the difference, so we can distinguish the two. Because what you did a very nice job making it for your people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know the difference.
There's a huge difference.
There's a huge difference,
That's,
but I didn't know that.
yeah, huge difference. I mean, these ladies,
Because right now I'm inclined to go with you.
they do, dealing with.
I'm just telling you the truth.
and that's what I'm
If
just
they're on
saying
the
that.
front line and there's no barrier between.
I will do whatever you tell me, but the job description is not.
You're saying the office staff and
Be any different.
the
I mean, it's not
jails.
going to.
it's different.
Here you deal with the public, over here you deal with the person who is.
But they
living
Well-
in the
job description.
But it needs to be written out, job description, because you can't have the other side saying, well, I have the same wording. To cover us, I think, I know, but
You
but I
have-
think,
Have job descriptions.
I think,
Yes, we do.
But
I'm just saying, delaying it another month.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, no disrespect.
But you know-
Delaying it another month is not gonna
well, we'll retro it, wouldn't we, guys?
change that. They still deal with these ladies, men in general, deal with inmates every single day.
And I thank you for clearing that up, because I didn't know that. But I agree, but I think to do it right, we have to put it in words so we can pay and justify it.
I mean, we have.
And I think the board would retro the back pay.
I
We've
just
never
want-
not retroed back pay. I mean, that's historical.
I
We
just
always-
want-
So just help us out.
No, yes, I would do whatever you.
Is that okay, guys?
That's why, yeah, I think that, or if you can run over there quickly and get it back before the end of the
Oh,
meeting.
I just don't. It's. I love to
Can we
see
leave
you
his
run.
motion
I have
open
ran with
and
you
move on?
before. You have to slow run.
Come on, Paul, I've never done that.
But you understand our point.
Not sure. I think we can.
We've got to be able to
suspend
distinguish.
this
No,
motion.
no, I completely understand.
Well, I think like it's all, I've seen this happen before. We've listened and we've taken the word and then the next meeting we have 37 people are like, my job is the exact same as the person you just gave a raise to and we didn't. get a
Yes.
raise. So that's all we're trying to prevent right here. Show us why that job's different. I believe you.
And I can't talk for anyone else. I'm just speaking for myself.
I got, but well, the sheriff backing you on this as well. I mean, the boss of the other people was telling us it's a different job. So I think he just wants to see it in writing.
I've got those four.
Will you rescind your motion?
Two other positions, you want for all of us, what would you like?
The two that didn't recommend, Case and Clerk.
Yeah, I rescind my motion and make a motion to table this until later in this meeting. If you make it back.
Address it at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Run.
A second, or he just rescinded. We don't need anything.
Here's what I found it.
Other people come saying,
I
you know,
understand, yes.
Should have been.
a lot of this is paid out of the deal.
Okay,
I mean,
yes.
but it's just a clarification.
Job description for this right now.
For the whole deal.
Already get that. Yeah, no problem, no.
We're good.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, you're running a
All right, if it's all right with everybody, is there any other old business? Move on with new business, Mr. Cochran.
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, I have it on my phone, it's not.
First issue, as you know, I'm very grateful that you all agreed to, fund the deputy position. And I'm pleased to report that in the first week and a half, it's actually, he's been very busy. We had a great job going on right now and, his assistance and that's been invaluable. One thing that I should have anticipated the need for is a vehicle. I think it's necessary for him to have a vehicle to do his job effectively. Some of the responsibilities he will have will be to, the various.
Investigate.
Investigate various things for us. In terms of like, for example, child support, subpoenas, et cetera. Things that may be directly that we need for him to do. So I think it is important. What I'm asking you to do is additional fund number 2502, add a year amount for the vehicle. I'm asking for an initial funding of about $40,000. I think that I have that money in my deferral fund.
and we more than cover that. The initial expense would be larger upfront. We're not looking, we've already done some research. We're not looking for a full outfitted police vehicle that the sheriff's department has or that the police department has. We're not looking for that at all. We're looking for a quality used vehicle. Start out with, and then we're then some money left over on that for gas and for maintenance.
So you're asking for a new line item to create it, but then you're gonna be able to transfer money into that line item.
We can, spot can.
Okay. But you have the money is what you're saying.
I believe we have the money to do it. And I don't think it would require you all to spend one more day in council.
So what series would you,
So 2502 is a fund that you can get permission to use and then don't have to use it.
you need to create a line item?
Yeah. This fund has $400,000.
40 won't take all that
Yeah.
out.
Do you need a motion to create a line? Would it be an in series or out of series? Is this an additional appropriation or how's this?
This would be an additional. And we'll put it in.
2502.
Then I also, are you going to, you're saying you're gonna use leftover money from this line and transfer it to vehicle maintenance?
Well, what I would ask is that it just be defined as a vehicle expense line. And then that way we don't have to create a new line for later for gas and oil changes.
He just wants one encompassing
Yeah,
line.
that way we purchase the initial vehicle through this line, and then in the future, it can be funded for, however.
So this fund has 400,000. 2502. Prosecutor 4D, is that what it's called? Prosecutor deferral fund?
We're definitely paying 6,000 retention from there for
Right.
salary and 5,000 chief deputy supplement from there.
So that's 11,000, but
I know
still that's
we're
400.
paying For that.
Okay,
Right.
so that's it. That's the only definite you can tell me right now, the 400,000. So this 40,000 is 100% sustainable in that. And you're not gonna need 40,000 every year. Every year you're gonna need like 2,000 for gas after that. And then every year after that is. I will make a motion that we advertise in his prosecutor deferral fund 2502 for additional appropriation of $40,000. And then when that's approved into the newly created vehicle line in fund 2502.
Kind of vehicle are we talking?
I think it's a Ferrari. Is that what you're looking at?
We're looking for just a regular.
He's not spending all that money, so we may get an electric bicycle, you know?
We're looking at just regular, like, mid-size. I mean, something that gets good mileage and, that's, practical. For the
They'll work with
large
commissioners on
SUV
that.
truck or anything like that. Maybe a mid-size SUV, but nothing like a, like.
Or not.
He'd own his own car, just like sheriff. owns his.
Commissioners are listed on his first too.
Oh, are they? So you'll work with the commissioners on the car.
Whatever extent I need to.
Gotcha.
They approve the claims, so I would definitely
then.
keep them in the
We
loop.
just
You think,
funded.
Kenny?
Right, I understand.
Perfect.
Okay.
What's the next?
Hey, you gotta finish voting.
A vote.
Oh, yeah, we need to vote. I only
We
motioned
only
it.
have a motion. Second, Jeff Clark. Any discussion, other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Thank you. One other issue I heard, and if you'll, patient with me, I actually have one other issue to discuss too, so. But the issue that I have here is, considering making the receptionist for the office full-time position. Currently part-time, if you'll hear me out on this, that position has, in my 6 years in office, I think I've had four part-time receptionists. And it is not a position that we can keep filled. I think I can keep it filled if we make our current part-time, full-time. She does a wonderful job and, but she's in a position where she probably, given changing life circumstances, probably needs to have a full-time job. I can tell you that, what I'm requesting is that, that she, that position have a salary of $33,280. I can tell you also that you've already budgeted $15,600 in the budget. $5,000 of that's paid out of a HUB grant, so that is not paid out of any monies from county taxes. So then we're looking at a balance of $12,680. If you look at all the benefits of the job, we've calculated that that amount is actually $27,267.20. However, as you all know, the 4D office gets reimbursed at a rate of 2/3. So the amount of money that would actually need to have that position is $9,270.85. We currently have in our incentive fund approximately $71,000. For the office, the incentive fund is reduced a little bit due to they're contributing 40% of the expenses of the move that we've had. And so that incentive money, unlike the money that we spend at the prosecutor side, that money's that's not tax dollars coming from you, that's federal tax incentive money. And we receive that quarterly. So for them to actually help with the move, we've actually saved the taxpayers a bit directly from regard to that.
And I had 33 plus 27.
My proposal is that if you look at the $9,270.85 that remains, we have the incentive money to pay. And what will happen next year is additional monies we think can come out of, some additional monies can come out of the HUB grant to assist with that. And then we believe that the amount of incentive money we have and that we get can help cover that. So that's what I'm asking for with regard to that position.
That total figure you came up with, 33, where, I know you didn't just throw a dart at the wall, where's that number come from?
And that would be a consideration of paying her $16 an hour on 40 hours.
Is that equal to some other reception?
It is not, and the reason it's not,
Below?
it is below, and the reason it's not.
That's the
is-
question.
Right, is the years of experience of my other.
Right.
Exceptions.
Well, that's what we were discussing. Want to make sure it wasn't above what you were.
And, you know, and in fairness to my other employee, I think it would be, I don't think it would be fair for me to come in and ask if they could pay the exact same amount. Given her years of experience. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't think it requires any additional things.
I just wanna understand. So we're gonna pay part of her salary from the 4D general fund, part of it from the HUB, and part of it from 8895. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so you'll get with me on exact figures.
So here's my request. And it's, I'm not disagreeing or one or the
I
other.
understand.
Historically, we've begged and we've been changing the face of this. I'm gonna ask that you bring this back to us next month with a full-blown job description
Gotcha.
and all the numbers
Math on paper.
and math on paper.
I love it.
But the job description. Because it doesn't exist right now. It's part-time. Tell me the full-time. Does that make sense? Is that fair enough?
In the breakdown, yeah, because I'm calculating in my head kind of what it's actually gonna end up costing by the time we get the reimbursements and everything. If we could just see that on paper, that'll be easiest for everybody.
So I'll make a motion
And I
to.
don't think I can run back to my office.
You're like you could.
You're a lot closer.
Well, you're wearing
You're not
you're wearing your dress shoes today. So I'll make a motion to table his last request.
And then I have one other
We
thing.
got a vote.
Wait.
You're only allowed two. You said two, not three. We got a motion in a second to table.
All in favor of tabling the motion?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed?
And I
7-0.
apologize for bringing this to you, should have let Mr. Watkins know earlier. However, as you're aware, we've had trouble filling on my courting position with regard to the attorney. That position's been open. I guess it's been a blessing in a sense because it helped fund the move that we just made. So in some senses worked out that way. I am very close, I think, to having someone hired for that. However, what we have right now is that money, as you're aware, the salaries for my deputies are $75,000, and under 2502, under the deferral, we have that $6,000 retention that was referred to earlier. If you look under line item 8895, or fund 8895, there's a school repayment incentive, and that's listed as $6,000, okay? Now, the reason for the retention bonus was to make both jobs equal in pay. That was done several years back.
Because there's prosecutors that don't have fees for school.
Correct. And what I need to do is, if you would, I need to relabel that school repayment incentive as $6,000 and relabel it as retention. So that when I hire this person, that money can go.
Because they don't need the school repayment.
Correct.
Can we do it as a line that says both?
Can that be done in that fund?
I see why not, because it was created for student loan forgiveness.
Right.
Do we
I just wanna
create a
make
new
sure
line
that
to
it-
transfer
And it's
it over?
already in this case.
Yeah,
You'll
make
have
it
to
work
add-
both. That's
That
what
way,
my question is.
somebody else quits, we don't have to.
So here's our question. Can we not rename that line that says
Retention.
retention or school repayment? That way, whoever falls in this job in the future, if they owe money, we give them that money for their school. If they don't owe money, we give them that money for retention. Does that make sense, Mike?
Right, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Can we just rename the line that? If she says we can pay the retention bonus.
That's what I'd be in favor
We
of.
probably need to add some like in Medicare, we're gonna pay it as a retention.
I mean, they're not here right now, but I'd say all of those, I mean, just not rename all of them that are like
Like on his other, are
other
there two
positions.
lines for it, or is there just one line on the other side?
It's just retention, it's not school.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he doesn't have any school repayment on the
Yeah,
other
we
side.
rename both of them.
I think it's a no-brainer that way.
Yeah,
Whatever category prosecutor you bring in, they're gonna be one or the other.
right, and the candidate I have has thought this through, and you're aware of it, so it's important.
We need a motion, or is that just a line change?
I make a motion that we rename the lines to retention or school repayment of the 6,000.
Did somebody say second?
Yeah, I did.
Clark. I knew where he was going.
I knew where we were headed.
All right, we have a motion and a second to rename the line. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Are you done?
7. Do you have anything else, Mike?
Just one more thing.
No.
All right.
He's made it back.
20.
Oh, yeah. She's back.
Oh, perfect.
We let her catch her breath, because I know she ran full speed. Yeah, come back up.
I have one. Anyone else?
I got one.
One.
I have it. If you have.
For you.
I'll start making it clear.
Taken, so.
That was good.
Never had a meeting once.
First, I have the job description for the case manager, and second of all, very poorly named, always have been. Maybe I think that because I did it for so many years myself.
You read
But
it.
I think that's why I wanted like, we don't want to get caught up in title names. We want to get this, and this makes a big difference. This isn't even close to what, agreed, Sheriff? I mean, these are completely different job titles and
Change the name.
they don't cross over to the jail side. At this point, I don't, I mean, it's,
Well, it's sheriff in the room.
yeah, the sheriff's agreeing with it. I don't have a problem
Make a motion, we do it,
as presented.
presented.
I'll make,
He's already got a motion.
okay.
You want to put the exact figures, go ahead and take over.
No, I'm just saying, I think the one that she's asking, it should be, where is that paper again? The one that she's asking facility officer, she's asking for 1989.
Oh, yeah, not presented. We want to make that 20 to equal the jailer. We're actually trying to give more money.
Yeah,
That puts that one in line with the jailer though. Does that make sense?
because I think that is probably, they're more comparable than some of these.
They're exactly the same, just, but I just didn't want to.
Yeah,
Office manager, 2149, case manager, 1993, field officer, $21, facility officer, $20 an hour, and clerk, 1905. Is that your motion, Jeff? I will second Jeff's motion.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me go.
We haven't voted yet. We haven't voted yet.
Oh,
All in favor of making those changes in the community corrections department? Is there any other discussion? I know we've already kind of had it. All in favor of making those changes in the community corrections department, say aye. Aye.
But,
Opposed?
retroactive.
Retroactive
yeah,
to
now I'm an aye. Yeah, now I'm an aye.
all in favor? Say
Aye.
aye.
Now you can thank us.
Is that good enough?
Are you paying her exactly or paying them exactly what was on that
No.
page?
The,
Could I have a copy of that,
the facility,
of the changes?
the facility officer is gonna be $20 instead of 1989.
Okay.
The rest of them are the same.
Okay, you got it. Wendy has a question.
Can I take that back to the board since we changed that one pay?
No, the board voted to approve it to bring it here.
We changed one
Oh,
pay.
okay, yeah.
Because I am so far behind on payroll. I'm gonna go ahead and change that without a signed salary ordinance today, so that I don't have to go and back.
I think that's perfect.
So it's a good thing you're behind, is that what you're saying?
Let's do a motion on that so we have it on record, just
I'll
to
make a motion that when, go ahead and do the pay without the salary ordinance.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Thank you. Sheriff Van Owen.
All right. I'll do my- Chamber of Commerce and it's going to.
Man, how'd that hurt?
We'll fill that one later.
So obviously I'm here today asking for the addition of chief deputy. This is something that it's traditionally been done. It was done way years ago. And as I got elected in November, I started seeing that I was behind the game. And what my challenge today is for myself is to present to you the why we need this position. But in law enforcement or any tactical organization, we have this rule of 2 is 1 and 1 is none. We never go into a situation where we're not in control. And as a sheriff, I am not in control of the department. And I am not the be all end all. I don't want everyone to come across that way. I'm just a guy. I'm a human being and I have weaknesses. So whenever you go into a tactical situation and you have weaknesses, you bring somebody with you because their strengths will build up your weaknesses and your strengths will build up their weaknesses. So one of the things that my weaknesses is that I need wisdom. And there's an old teaching that says there's wisdom in counsel. So I started looking at how I wanted to approach the sheriff's office over the next 4 years. They say if you want to go someplace quick, you go alone, but if you want to go farther, go together. So I want to have somebody that's joined at the hip with me that can help us go farther as a sheriff's office to keep us serving the county effectively, protecting and serving, but also being very responsible and conservative with our budgets and cutting down the problems whenever it comes to payroll and claims. This person that I've considered has experience with not only administratively with budgets, payrolls, and claims, but with personnel issues, such as the hiring and firing of employees, and recruiting of employees, the managing of interpersonal conflicts. This subject also has, unfortunately, the experience of dealing with line of duty debts. This person has also been involved with dealing with natural disasters, tornadoes and blizzards. And yes, even all the way back to the riot at the fairgrounds. And I'm proud to say that I actually served alongside this person on 9/11. Whenever I was a new officer, didn't even have a car yet. And I called this person up and said, hey, people are freaking out. What do you need me to do? He's like, get the coroner's van and come. We directed traffic on 9/11 for 4 hours at truck stops because everybody was freaked out. He remained calm. Now there is some concerns that have been raised, and I'm just going to flat out, I'm the rip the Band-Aid kind of off the wound kind of guy. There's been some people that are concerned about nepotism in my person that I'm considering. I've spoken with our legal deputy, who basically all he does, or one of the major things he does is deal with sheriff law. He's a very educated man and he has no qualms about nepotism. This is a non-issue to him. Both employees at the sheriff's office were hired before 2012, the year the nepotism law came into being. So they're grandfathered into that. One of them came in 1975, way before Derek McGraw. I was one. The other one was brought in, I believe, in 2007. Now, that's one concern of nepotism. The other one is you can't have a person in direct line of authority. I'm restructuring the standard operating procedure tree of authority where that employee, the detective, will report directly to the sheriff, which is not uncommon due to the high profile cases such as murders and sexual offenses. I do have an SOP, if you guys care to see it, about what the chief deputy would be responsible for.
This is an existing SOP.
It is an old SOP and an existing SOP.
Right.
So I'm going to, Tuesday, bring this to my board.
Your merit board.
Yes, my merit board, and make that happen. And we'll lick your fingers and touch it from spread the room. Okay. So that is the SOP of what he is expected to do. Now, for money wise, because it all comes down to money, I'm asking for my chief deputy to be paid $57,000 a year salary. Reason being, comparable to another position in the county, like the assistant police chief at Princeton, I believe they make $57,000 a year. I've got together with Mike and Wendy and I've crunched the numbers. What I'm asking for is an additional appropriation of $4,980. Now here's how I get to that number. Well, here's a brief overview of how I get to this number. Whenever you think of an organization, you think of a bus in this situation. You want to get the right people in the right seats. And sometimes people have to move seats. And I've done that already as sheriff. Sometimes people get off the bus. That's their choice. Right now, the way the tree of authority is, we have 2 captains. I've chosen not to have a second captain. And I'm going to redo that captain's job description. I have 2 open sergeant positions. Actually, one of the captain positions is open. That was one that I had. I've not filled that. I don't intend to. I would like that to be a chief deputy. We have 2 open sergeant positions right now. For 2023, I do not intend to open both of those positions. I want the money from the captain, the money from the sergeants to go towards this position. So I've done the math with Mike, and he believes that the $4,980 is correct. Now, the benefit is, and this is an unknown, this officer does not need county insurance because he can't give up his insurance that he already has. He'll never get a deal like this again. And I'm not gonna go into the deal that he has, but the way he's gonna have to be double insured. So there's a way in the union, I'm just throwing it out there, I know the union has a contract we have to abide by, that could have saved us $20,000 there. So my question is, if you guys will agree to the chief position, and that it's needed, and where the numbers are all working, I would like to see the chief deputy start immediately. And at least under the open captain position, because we try to work the numbers out. Now, before I go any further, let me tell you a little bit about our chief, and some of you guys have been whispering his name, that if I would get the line item, he's Indiana's only 5-term sheriff.
It's George?
In the department district, or excuse me, in state district, he is only 5-term sheriff. That's 20 years of experience as being sheriff. He did 12 years as chief deputy. He has not been a merit officer, and he will not be a merit officer as the chief deputy. He will be in a political appointment by me, and you saw the SOP on that. So he hasn't been a merit deputy since the 90s. He rose through the ranks from reserve, and he had a total of about 48 years of service.
I didn't say a word. I didn't say a word.
So that's what
Is that
I'm asking. But the big ask is, I would like to see a chief deputy appropriation made for a salary of $57,000, and I need $4,900. Is there any questions?
There is the issue, though, that we talked about. He cannot still hold the
Right.
jail.
Two increased positions, that's
Yeah.
the commissioner's issue.
What's the other position?
So he is,
Oh, the jail project.
he is the owner's rep for.
Right. I didn't know which position we were talking.
So the issue of working full-time, and part-time, can't do that. At least it's my understanding is right now at 10:20 in the morning. I'm wondering if we could do a stipend on that, that's some issues on that, because you guys are saving some major money. Whenever you guys made the point of contact. Now, that being said, I don't want this to be.
So just to bullet point some things, this is not in the salary ordinance. Chief deputy,
Not in.
it got removed permanently. So we wouldn't be able to establish this position until our meeting in February. You're aware of that, correct? Even if we agree upon it today. Am I wrong in stating that?
Now, I can't put it in the salary ordinance until February, you're correct. I could pay him from the captain's position. And then in February, he could go to the chief deputy.
But the captain's position is a merited position. So that's where my questions are coming.
That's.
I want to go on the record as I ask these questions, and I'm 100% in favor of a chief deputy spot. I think it's duly needed. I believe if you ran the record back in July, I asked during budget hearings, should we not put this position in? So I just want to make sure we clarify going forward what we can do today and what we can't do today legally.
Yeah, I clarify, I'm okay with everything that's going on. I'm a little worried about him overseeing the project. Is that really gonna be an issue or not?
You can't be paid with a 1099 on that project.
It will be a W-2 employee, and you can't be a W-2 and a 1099 employee at the same position. And it probably,
Can you just do it in this capacity as
It might end up
as
as.
chief deputy?
yes.
It may be,
Possible.
yeah, there are options there that I'm just kind of working through right now.
It just can't be paid is the same.
So Derek, if I do the salaries, the amended salary schedule,
Right?
and we make it effective January 1,
Mm-hmm.
and you just sign it in February.
That's what I'm saying. It's gotta be advertised for 30 days, right? An amendment.
No advertising.
Oh, we don't have to
Advertise it at all. The additional 5,000 would have to be advertised.
Oh, we won't.
But that, we don't even need to clean up till December, so that's easy.
Right.
The money's not the problem here.
No. I can do that and make this salary schedule effective January.
What's your
1st.
captain's pay? That's a question real quick.
I've got it.
Captain's position is 49,296.
Gotcha.
But that's a merited position.
Correct.
70.
We're just saying the difference, see where it's at, yeah.
I think we're fine. As long as. I
So
don't know.
putting the chief deputy's position into our salary ordinance doesn't require a 30-day advertisement or anything like that.
Not that I know of.
I don't
We
know.
eliminate.
I don't think it
I don't
does.
think it
Sergeant
does.
positions open. How is that not covered?
She's just adding a
I'm sure
line.
I'm missing that. Well, I know, I get that, but where's the money go? Like the captain and 2 sergeant.
Only one of the
positions.
sergeant's positions, you're
Right,
probably,
I should notice, I should say this, we got 2 open positions right now. We had the one for Sheriff Cloud where he retired, and then we had an additional one. So that, one of those positions is gonna go straight to, that's going away.
Going away. And when we did the change, I don't even remember what year that was, probably 12 or something.
before then.
After Allen, you did it the year after Harmon. And when we made that change, our concern was if we ever, had somebody appoint, that we'd have these extra positions. And I know that was part of the discussion. So I'm relieved to hear you say that
He's
that.
not replacing those 2 positions. He's replacing this body with the captain.
Right.
The human body, at the end of the day, if we hire George, there's still one opening left. Right now, currently, as we talk, there's 2.
Right,
George is gonna take one.
yes.
So realistically, because of this opening that he still has the one of, we probably don't even have to do an additional by the end of the year. Because we have a salary that we have funded. So I don't even think we need to advertise for an additional and wait and know going at the end of the year why you would make them. I don't think we're gonna come up short, personally.
No.
Because we're not paying that salary right now. And the chances on you getting somebody hired in a month aren't even there. So I don't think we need the additional money at this point. We just need to address what do we need to do with the salary ordinance and how soon can he hire George?
So January 1, we'll just make this effective January 1 because you made the corrections officer's pays January 1. You made hers January 1.
We have to, though, too.
Or not
Retroactive.
corrections, but-
Yeah, because he hasn't started yet.
He has been working every day.
Or you can make it today.
I don't think we're retroactive just because it's a brand new position. No offense, George. I am in favor of starting it today, but I don't know what we need to get started today.
Today, to vote on it, you need to make a line.
I will make a motion that we create in the sheriff's department budget, a chief deputy line. And I'm gonna stop my motion at that, and then we can motion on the salary after that. We need to create the line first, because it's a brand new position.
And statutory.
Statutorily, he is allowed to appoint this authority, so it's not a merited position, it's everything in the SOP. By statute, it exists.
I second.
The motion and a second to,
And I want that today, it's gonna be established today.
for chief deputy today. Discussion, questions? You guys are getting the runaround of the whole gamut today, aren't you?
They're not usually this complicated.
All in favor of creating the chief deputy line item in the sheriff's budget, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Now,
Now for the salary ordinance.
are we eliminating a line?
Yes, I mean, we're gonna eliminate a sergeant's line, right?
And a
No, we're not eliminating a body, though. That's where we gotta evaluate this.
You're eliminating.
Rank, we're eliminating rank.
When this is all said and done, we'll have the same number of positions.
People,
filled.
we're not adding any people, we're eliminating some rank.
They get educated on
Yeah.
the process when we do the budget hearings. Those are half-day
Supervisor we had.
deals and we set the whole budget. for the county. That's when you
and I
start
think
figuring things
that's
out.
called micromanaging, managing on a microscopic level, and I want to get away wait.
We were rank heavy. That's the question he was just asking me. We were rank
Yeah,
heavy.
and I'm trying.
So
to
you're getting rid of
actually-
both sergeant
So
positions?
it'll be one sergeant eventually promoted, right? Is that what you're telling us?
So, well, maybe, not this year. I gotta see how things go, because right now what I've got is I've got a captain on upstairs, I've got a sergeant on thirds, and I've got a detective sergeant, and I have a sergeant that is in the course.
So you're for sure
Let's do it
eliminating forever one captain
and one
and
sergeant,
one sergeant.
forever eliminating that.
So I'll make a motion that we.
Not the body, just the money.
Right, but for this
That
year, I will.
lines.
Two sergeants.
Gotcha.
No. Not,
Hold on,
I'm saying,
hold on.
At this point, 2 captains,
Right,
so you're gonna go to 1 captain.
yes.
I have 5 sergeants.
Right,
Well, detective, third shift, courthouse.
Yeah.
And then 2 openings.
right.
Okay.
We're gonna get rid of one of those openings.
So.
It's gonna be 4 sergeants.
Wait. For this year, I'm gonna get rid of both.
Yeah, but then we have to reestablish the salary ordinance again next year.
But that's just the money that.
It is the money,
There's a little bit of.
So my numbers are going to 4 sergeants.
correct? In 2024, you're gonna have
Because
4
we're gonna
sergeants.
keep that money there, because we're not gonna reestablish, we're just gonna take a portion of that money to the chief deputy, is that correct?
So top to bottom, there should be 19 deputies from you to the bottom. Is that correct?
Including the sheriff.
Including the sheriff. At this point, based on what you're showing right there, you should only show 18 if I'm correct, and we're adding the 19. I don't like that we pull them out like that. Like, we dedicated, there's 4 sergeants dedicated. That's not even how we do my budget.
So you don't want that?
I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm saying it makes it very difficult for our budgetary purposes to look at it that way.
Well, we're asking to eliminate 2 sergeant rank.
Right.
You're saying eliminate only 1 sergeant rank. Leave that position.
Open.
Say, hey, you're gonna get deputies paid, but we'll see how that line item, that open sergeant.
But we'll have to. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't like it.
Or you can transfer that into officers' pay or.
Because right now, how many deputies are shown on our schedule?
16, 17, 18, and the sheriff.
But in the payroll line, it specifically says deputy, doesn't it? Under the salary ordinance, doesn't it specifically say deputy?
This is captains, sergeants, and patrolmen,
So how many patrolmen?
9.
9 patrolmen.
And 2 courthouse security.
So that's actually 11 patrolmen, but okay. 2 court, so there's 11, and you're gonna have a sheriff, a chief deputy, a captain, detective sergeant, third shift sergeant, courthouse sergeant, and courthouse sergeant. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 11, 17. We're still short 1. See, that's what I'm saying. But if we eliminate that sergeant and put it to the deputy line in 2024, he wants that sergeant position back.
So what do you want me to do?
I guess you're not doing it in 2023. I mean, the easy answer is, are you doing it in 2023?
But sergeant.
Right.
No.
He needs 10 deputies. He needs 3 sergeants. He needs 1 captain. He needs 1 chief deputy, and he needs 1 sheriff. Now do that math and tell me.
Is that correct?
Tell me the math.
But that could be 4 sergeants next year.
It could,
18 plus 2,
If you,
that's 18.
that's
I
8.
thought we were 19. We're still short
Oh,
1.
we're at 18. I
So,
think.
If we add the chief deputy,
Well, 1 sheriff, 3,
have everybody come in here and line up and we'll count.
and 10 patrolmen is 16, and 2 courthouse is 18. Because 1 and 3 is 6 and 8. 17, 18, 19, so I am short.
you know, you gotta add another deputy. It's gonna take that to 12 deputies. Hey, we took 2 sergeants out and we only added,
So I need 11 patrol.
no, you need 12,
Well,
12 deputies,
This is
12
why we
pat-
normally don't do this in a meeting.
12 patrolmen.
okay.
Now do the math.
That makes 20.
That's not right.
So I need 11.
There you go.
I need 11 deputies.
Oh, you're funded for 9 right now?
Yes.
Yep, my bad. 11 deputies.
11 deputies.
Yes.
2 courthouse security.
Correct.
1 captain. 1
Correct.
chief deputy, and 3 sergeants.
1, 2, 3. That is correct.
Okay. So I can change
Right?
it.
Okay.
He said, yeah, just like.
Now now that we've got our numbers, we need to vote on the chief deputy salary. Right?
Well, I don't know. Just like I said, we typically don't do the, yeah, I know that you need to get him hired. I'm just trying to figure out if is that's the right salary? I mean, that's above the captains, right?
Correct.
Significantly.
And significantly below the sheriff.
Yep.
But it's the same as the cities, that was that was-
Right there in line with the city's assistant chief.
That means you won't steal him from
We're
them.
not in line.
The Other-
We're really not in line with the city on anything.
We're trying though. We're not there yet.
He does not get overtime, he would not get holiday pay.
And the other positions do get overtime and holiday.
Got it.
pay.
At mine, yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
I hear
Just
you.
trying to.
Yeah, and mine. My assistant is not, I mean, given the right structure, which I'm confident we're gonna have, then this chief deputy will have a lot more responsibility than my assistant chief will. Idiot that I have in my position and can speak on that, but I don't have a problem with the salary, based on what I know other areas.
Well, you can make a motion if, and we could open it up.
Does anybody else want to talk about it before we make a motion?
No, I'm agreeable.
Okay.
I see your point. And I also I see all points of it. See that the rest of the deputies are not in line with the city. We're matching him in line with the city. I also see that this position is not going to be also in line with the city.
Yeah, it doesn't carry over.
More responsibility
100%.
with the jail, especially.
Yeah, because last time somebody was incarcerated in the city building was.
Probably before George was a cop.
Yeah.
Three police departments.
And you're likely gonna amend his job description to include managing any construction projects?
Make sure we're being, appropriate.
When is your next contract up for that?
June of 24.
You were through June of 24. Okay.
And we can, I'm gonna talk with the commissioners and see what we're going at. And if it turns out that, that it's a conflict, that, like Sam.
Have you talked,
I've been on the project for 18 months. I'd like to see it get done, obviously.
have you talked to Jason about it at all? Or
Yes, I have.
You have?
I mean, we're 100%, you guys are clear. The second you get chief deputy, payment stops as our jail
I
rep.
understand.
Okay.
And, no, I did talk to Jason about it yesterday.
Okay, that's what I didn't
He
hear.
said that we
Okay.
definitely get something worked out. And we will definitely get it to happen. It's not going to be.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I didn't want to put words in his mouth, but that's one of the reasons I picked him, is because it's usually never a Republican or a Democrat issue. It's what's best for the jail, because he loves the sheriff's office. We'll probably end up burying him underneath the new one.
Damn. Wow. Lord, we're moving dirt now.
He cares about the- That's what.
I don't think we're gonna even.
The experience, well worth
You
it.
two guys, I think you can do some great things, but I need you to promise me we'll work to get pay,
Which is awesome.
pension.
That patrol
Sheriff's
is awesome. They both do it.
We're getting two
Yes.
patrol deputies.
We've got to find a way to make that happen.
So we're
I
only
agree.
getting
This revolving door, getting them all to Derek is crazy.
deputy pay. You go under
Hear that, Derek?
So
Goodbye.
that's why there's not quite.
Right.
What? I said the revolving door, them, you hiring their guys has got to end.
I hope it doesn't.
I know you.
Oh, no, yeah.
Be away.
I'm, somebody want to make a motion on salary? I've made every motion.
I'll make a motion that we set the chief deputy salary at $57,000.
Effective
Today.
Effective today.
Today's date.
So that ain't going on this payroll.
So And then, so the other issue that we have is the current agreement, I believe, I haven't ever seen it, but I guess the current agreement that we have with the union health insurance plan is there's a contribution for every employee regardless of whether they had insurance or not, whether they have a spouse that works here also or not.
But we're not adding a new employee. We're budgeted for this amount of employees anyway.
However, but it's $20,000 of insurance money that
Right,
he
that we shouldn't
doesn't
have to-
need.
I don't.
I just didn't know.
If I can get them, I take it. I can see my take it.
Yeah. Yes.
As far as our budget's
Oh,
concerned though. it's
Wendy
about-
sent a letter.
Send a letter. Email. Don't take offense. It said that he was above the age of needing this insurance.
Hey, that's worse than what you say.
Other insurance established, and would it be possible to exclude him with the right paperwork filled out? And could we not pay that money?
Okay.
I haven't got an answer.
We're looking into it.
But there's several positions like that throughout.
You were familiar with that, I
Redundant.
presume, Kenny? You were familiar with that, I presume? That we pay that for, okay. And I would hope that they'd be open to that. And then, most businesses have a policy in place that Medicare, that they change the insurance to some sort of a supplement or something like that. I'm not saying that's where we are, but. Okay, excellent.
We have a
And
motion.
So we have a motion.
Second. You didn't. Jeff, is that you? Okay.
any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0.
Congratulations. George.
Since we made a motion to add that line, we need a motion to of our figures on changing those other lines to the numbers or just.
She'll fix those. We used to do this with EMS all the time between paramedics and EMTs.
Why don't she bring it in next
Okay.
month and then we'll. yeah,
You know where the
finalize
numbers
it.
should be now though, right? Okay. I still think we're gonna be under budget at the end of the day.
Skipped over the appointments.
Oh yeah, now we can do the appointments.
I started, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had Rachel come back up.
Oh. Oh, yeah, Rachel. Okay.
Because it's a appointed position. But no, he's been an employee for since nineteen
Yeah,
seventy.
it would be waived, but because of his past experience, I don't know exactly how we have that worded.
What about,
He has not been
well, I mean, he's a past employee,
asked.
right?
Yeah.
Do we need to waive it? Or-
1,000 less.
Yeah, or is it, no?
Contract, or it's a salary position.
Okay, so it's not, okay.
Okay.
It's an exempt position.
Yes.
All right, very,
Oh, we had two openings.
very, very quickly, I'll run through the appointments for 2023. Community Corrections Board, Derek McGraw. The E911 Advisory Board, are you interested in that one? No? Mike?
Me? Ask me?
Yeah, sorry, I missed that one. Okay. Mike Stillwell, Gibson County Solid Waste, Jeff Clark. The Safety Committee, also Mike Stillwell. Sheriff's Pension Board, Jeremy Overton and Jay Riley. Evansville Urban Transportation System, we determined last year, we thought that was no longer a thing. Chamber of Commerce, ex officio, Hannah Whitehead. Council Finance Committee, Jeremy Overton, Jay Riley, and Jeff Clark. Regional Economic Development, Bob Schleter. Gibson County Development, Bob Schleter. Gibson County Redevelopment, Phil Young and Bruce McIntosh. Gibson County Economic Development, Derek McGraw. And Gibson County Advisory Planning Commission, Mike Stillwell. Those are the appointments. Position classification change, Kenny?
Here, knowing your November meeting, Mary Keith gonna ask you for a pay raise. Pay raise. And it's not really a job classification,
it's just to get her up to first deputy pay. I mean, she does everything in this building. And, through Stephanie, we want to bring her up to first deputy pay while she does. She handles floodplain administrator, she handles EMAs, whenever Terry's not around, she does all that. We want to say she's the first deputy because there's not that many in here, but we want to bring her up to that pay rate because she handles so many different jobs in here.
As long as she's a second deputy in the union, I mean, that would have to change. The union contract
Would.
states a second deputy makes a certain amount.
That's why the classification changes.
Yes.
We don't do it that way, but, you know, she just does everything for everybody up here, you know, we think, even Mary did, but you said had to be after the first year.
Mhm.
So it was up to me, but, to bring her up to that kind of pay, by classification, first deputy.
First deputy get insurance too. They're still in the insurance.
They still get the same thing. They're just not in the union anymore.
So you're taking her out of the union?
You know,
You're saying no, not coming out of the union,
It will still be in.
but we can't do that.
First deputies are not in the union, not that type.
First deputy pay,
But they're telling us we can't do that.
you have several first deputy pays.
There are no first deputies that are in the union. They are different titles.
They voted to change the title in the commissioner meeting.
I'm just telling you.
To what?
It will be the same as the other first deputies. You have one at the county highway department. Kay's previous position was the first deputy. You had Michelle, you had them at the health department as well.
the pay was,
And you have them in other
Is she
departments.
currently listed as a second deputy
pay was.
or
even
just second
better.
deputy pay?
Kay was classified as an administrative assistant. And I'm just-
First deputy.
It's first deputy pay,
Was Kay in the union?
yes.
Yeah, Kay was administrative assistant.
You want to change your classification
Well, you know,
altogether?
I clarify, I have to clarify this because the first deputy is actually in the union in the health department. Yeah. But I don't know what that contract reads. I'd have to look at that contract because I may have this incorrect here. But regardless, he's getting
Just like
first deputy.
Michelle was here at EMS. She's in the union, and she's first deputy,
She's clerk.
she gets first deputy pay,
I'm not arguing that.
okay?
I'm not arguing.
She's not classified as a first deputy.
I'm just saying what the name is, okay? I'm not arguing pay is anything.
I know it says reclassification, but we're not here to do it, we just want to upper pay to the first deputy wages.
Our job description, Ron's job description is, bookkeeper, food service.
Critical registry.
Yeah. So he's just in that, but I've got his job description and it's not first deputy.
I'm not arguing.
Job title, yeah. Which means like in our office, everybody has a job title, so I could ask for first deputy pay for everyone in there.
Which was done.
And it was,
Only. It was standing room only,
Mm-hmm.
which we'll have next month.
Yeah.
I think the problem is how you guys are determining what a deputy is. First deputy compared to a deputy. He is a deputy director already. There's no other deputy director in the county. So her classification, you guys look at it one way compared to what she's classified, I guess, by pay. This is not a huge amount of money here that we're talking about.
I don't think anybody's discrediting that, Terry. I think from historical, every time we do something against the union like this, I can guarantee you we're gonna have to have a different venue next month. Because this room is gonna be standing room only. So I personally, for me, I want union representation here to tell us where they stand on this. Can you tell us where you stand on this? I don't know.
Someone from,
Getting a pay raise.
right. It was my suggestion that she request from the commissioners change the classification, whatever, respective, if that's required, or if there's a different classification that we get her to pay. Given that there's no director, and no, it's hard to justify a second deputy when there's no first. In my opinion, and I was here to support her in that request. If she would withdraw the need to take it on you.
But you don't want to withdraw from me.
It wouldn't say it would have a different classification. So that would be within the contract.
Kenny, are you wanting to change the classification?
You want to change the classification, you get first, change the name.
I think the meeting, the union ought to have a chance to meet so they can handle that internally rather than us vote on it and come to a meeting. Have you talked to the other union members? Have you guys had a meeting and discussed the proposal, or how do you go about that?
I mean, the commissioners,
Like a union.
Clarify what you said.
Have you talked with the union members about this proposal in an organized format so that they know up front that this is being proposed? What has happened in the past is we make a move here, and then the next month, all the union members show up to have what I would consider to be a union meeting with it while we're having our council meeting. To have those arguments and discussions, to me, that should all take place. To me, that's what a union represents, and that should all take place within the union.
We have a bargaining unit in the meeting, February 1st. My initial thought is, for example, she's changing from one position to another. This is just a personal choice between, one position to another.
But she's not changing within the union though.
She's leaving the union
Yes.
And I'm taking a different position.
taking a different position.
Right.
But she was brought in at first deputy pay, when the person that left was making second deputy pay. And that was not brought to the union for any kind of vote.
It doesn't need to be.
As long as the council commissioners. And that's what I was thinking at the highway, so I did a transfer.
And she was coming in as a
And remember,
kind of an interim administrator.
If it's at your pleasure, we'd like to request to table it. And we'll have our meeting on February 1st. We'll get back with one thing. Would that be more acceptable to everyone? That make it feel a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, because we don't want to have your meeting February 1st and then our meeting in February, you have another meeting where everybody's, because we did that once before. We've been down that road once before.
Yeah, and it'd just be best to avoid that.
Can you tell me?
we just don't want to change your classification. Like I said, floodplain administrator, deputy.
So tell me what classification, what's in the union or out of the union now that we have union health insurance? What's the big difference? What are you concerned about there?
Yeah, we may not be following the right thing, like job classification change, it's just the pay.
That's right, that's all I'm thinking.
So what changed in the job? Like, I'm assuming a lot has changed to ask for an increase in pay, right?
We'll change the job now, I mean, that's. we'll change the job, I mean, she's-
What changed to ask for it to start with, what we're saying?
She's deputy director asking to be paid first deputy pay, that's all it is. She's hired, she's in the union.
I don't think we need the hostility when we're asking a question to make a decision here, Terry. I mean, geez. Yeah, you are. You're red faced and you're angry and I don't appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out why we need to give a raise. Tell me why. I'm the biggest proponent of raises in this county council's history. I'm just asking a simple question.
Well, we discussed it.
Motion to table.
Second. All in favor of tabling the motion till next month?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And we have some transfer requests.
Already?
27 cents.
Oh, is this end of the year stuff? Okay. We're 10 days in. The budget should be healthy.
It's the stuff that you guys were talking about in December.
All right, we'll start with the EMS. We have, has everybody seen them? Does anybody else have this copy or is this just me?
I have not.
And am I writing on the main?
Oh, you know this.
My email, though.
That's it.
I got it somewhere.
I got it on my phone.
I'm just trying to decide how to group them.
Yeah.
We make a change.
I didn't scroll to the bottom.
Yes.
I don't see any problem with any of the personal series
Maybe.
transfers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So this is to clean up end of the year.
Yeah, I believe so. Is that right? To clean up the end of the year. So
Done it and just come back to ours before.
I don't know if anybody's gonna nobody's gonna wanna pull anything out, are they? Has anybody seen
Yeah,
anything
I
on
haven't
there that you
apparently.
wanna pull out separately, or can we approve them as a group?
As a group.
Yeah, I read them. I mean, some of them was,
Basic, she.
This is, well, I'm just only talking about the personal series
I don't know,
transfer.
that's 6 cents. I don't know.
There's a 15-cent
For
one.
your, they're allowed to make in-series transfers or 4 series to each budget. They're allowed to make transfers inside that series. However, we had some funny business like early 2009, 2008. And we said, hey, we're gonna establish an ordinance that in-series transfers in series 1, that would deal with personal services, benefits, things like that, that those need to be brought before the council.
Okay.
So we do that as an extra piece. So then we get into this situation, at the end of the year, they might need to move money. They're all being moved from like part-time to overtime or overtime to part-time, just to clean up and get through the year for budget. So
this document is part of our meeting, correct, Mike?
Group insurance. Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion based on the personnel series transfer request presented in this document to approve all the personnel series transfers.
I'll second that motion.
There is a bunch of them.
we have a motion and a second to approve the personal series transfers as written on the 1/10/2023 council meeting request for transfers and additional appropriations. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Out of series transfer.
I'll make a motion to approve
Yes.
all the out of series transfers.
I don't see any.
Right.
I'll second that motion.
So now, in this case, if they go out of series,
So there's series.
for
2,
instance,
3,
if
and
they
4.
were to take money from contractual services and try to move it into capital expenses for
Two, 3, or 4.
to buy computers or buy a car or something like that, that always has to be applied, those kinds of moves out of series. So
Is this all the stuff that you guys went over in December meeting?
No, this is new.
some of it we talked about it, huh?
A lot of this, we requested that when I did my payroll, when lines came short, like on the jail commander, when they gave a raise, they didn't get an additional. So they said it was okay for us to go ahead and make our books transfer within those lines. That was what we talked.
We did a very general in December, like, hey, fix it and then bring it to us.
She gave some examples, but yeah, this is definitely what we're talking about. So.
Motion and second.
And motion a second. Anybody have any questions, comments? All in favor of approving the out of series transfers on the 1/10/2023 council meeting request for transfers and additional appropriations document, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0. And then we have additional appropriations requiring approval. This is the additional for 2022 8104 victim assistance grant. Needs an additional appropriation for 2022, needs council approval only. Personal services, $313.40.
That, because they ran short
They just ran short, yeah.
and didn't have nowhere to transfer it from.
And that's a grant, the money's there, they just, yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the additional appropriation for the
8104 victim assistance grant,
8104 victim assistance. That's the amount of
313.
$313.40. I just scrolled.
We have a motion, is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0. Any other new business?
Wendy?
Table this, but I do want to clarify that I just will go through the salary schedule and there is another first deputy position listed in the union. So I wanted to clarify that for
In what?
you. The extension office.
Pension.
Okay, so, there's a job description in the health department and he's first deputy, but he's also got another title. And he's in the union in the extension office, but other than that, they're usually administrative assistants. First deputies are not normally that title, is not normally in the contract. It's got a different title, not saying anything about money, I'm just saying title, okay?
Okay. And do you know of any other second deputy positions where they have, you have a take-home vehicle? Is that correct or not? Where they have a take-home vehicle? Or you don't know?
If we had a policy on take-home vehicles. County had a policy.
I don't think that policy was ever approved, was it?
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I thought it was.
In the midst of change.
We definitely need one, but
There is an ordinance I ran across about using them for personal use. That I haven't looked through all the ordinances and that one's back. Quite a
That needs
ways.
to be addressed because the IRS says that needs to be.
yeah. How about that asset? You sent an email about the asset inventory. Is that going, have you begun on that or have people started turning them in?
We already had the capital asset. Every year we ask for new capital assets that they've purchased that are 5,000 or more. That's going into a program,
Okay.
which will probably get up and running February. That will be going into that program where every department will have to put in their own capital asset when they get it, and it has to come through me to be approved then.
And then do they update things like mileage every year or not?
No, but we can ask for that. And then we're doing also inventory of anything less than $5,000, but not staplers, pens and pencils, things like that. But we have to have like the office furniture, the computers, the printers, the monitors, things like that. It's gonna have to be inventory.
I do have one question before we, on this, what you sent out on this interest.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Have we already made about half as much in interest this year as we did all of last year?
Oh, yeah.
Is that how I'm reading?
Yeah.
Paid out.
No, we've got in,
Yeah, so we were at $396,800. For the year, we were at 40,000 in June when we started having the conversations in May and then making those changes. So 40,000 first half of the year, 356,000 second half of the year.
According to this, we're already over 100,000 already this year.
I would imagine we will be. I mean, we were at 356 for 6 months and rates are better than they were.
We're at
That Trust Indiana-
116, 752.
That Trust Indiana just keeps increasing. I mean, I think they're paying over 3% right now. Maybe closer to 4.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so.
Closer to 4, I'll bet. So the treasurer handles all the investments. We used to have CDs at the bank back in the early, like when I came on the council in 2006. But then after 2008, the rates went way down and it wasn't worth the trouble to put money in a CD to get 0.1%, right? We had an operating account at German American. They were good to us and they gave us somewhat of a rate. Well, Indiana has a Trust Indiana plan. So I talked with Mary Ann. Just from my business, I knew that rates were coming up and there were good CD rates out there. So she started looking into it, got comfortable with that Trust Indiana. And we got about 300,000 more of interest the second half of the year than we would have just by doing that. And then now with that money all invested and the rates better, hopefully that'll help us fund some of the things that we had. I remember we made over 800,000 back in 2006, right? I mean, it went from 800,000 to 120,000 to 20,000.
So what's that interest earmarked for? Just falls into the general fund?
It'll just fall into the,
But it could,
and part of that's jail money though, right?
could be reinvested though. Could it not be?
Well,
into-
it is
It's-
reinvested.
Well, it's going into our general fund.
It could stay in the fund and it increase that amount.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but even though they're being held, it's all the other things that are being held, it all goes into the general fund.
instead
all that
of it
interest.
going into the general fund, why could it not just roll into
When you're talking funds and accounts, they're totally.
Well,
different. You see what I mean?
into
It's
the,
still in the account. Just the interest is going into the.
but why
general
can the
fund and
interest
your
not go
account.
into the account?
How much
It
principal?
does, both.
No,
There's an overlay.
Yeah.
Christie,
Yeah.
the money is
This is
coming,
what-
the interest is coming into the general fund to be used. It's not rolling back into the account.
Accounts, German American.
Can we roll it back into the account?
Wait a minute, though. We're talking fund and account. The Trust Indiana account is holding the dividends that are being reinvested.
Okay. Yeah, they were talking about that at that seminar I went to,
Okay,
investments. So we've got a whole bunch. of
Doing very well.
And that just stays here, right?
and that money though, it's in Trust Indiana. It's there if we need it, but it doesn't change the accounting for the general fund. It is growing the general fund. He's asking, why aren't we reinvesting that? We are reinvesting that, but when you do your accounting, we're not?
No.
No, it's coming out going directly into the general fund.
But the general fund is a checking, there's a checking account.
Well, there's a main thing. Let's call it main thing.
Yes.
When she gets interest, we are receiving that into the main bank account. And to my knowledge,
It's just in the bank account.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yesterday she did pull 16 million.
Okay.
Or 16,000 from the main bank account and
Back
put it
in.
into Trust Indiana. So now we've got 10,016,000 invested with Trust Indiana.
Okay.
So we have to physically move back our gains. Is that what you're saying?
They pay out the interest to our bank account.
Yes.
The main bank account.
Instead of rolling into the
Fund.
fund.
Now, I don't know if that's how they're required to do it but okay, thank you for that clarification. Because it could be, it doesn't have to be that way.
We could keep it rolling.
It
back
could stay in. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Who has the minutes?